If you're looking for Magic cards, look no further than Flipside Gaming. They have all the latest Magic singles and product that you need to actually leave the house and battle in Magic the Gathering. And right now, if you would like to save 10% on your orders from Flipside Gaming, use the promo code CGB at checkout. That is promo code CGB. Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and welcome back to the adventures of young CGB, or as we might call them for more accessibility to new members, free-to-play guides. This is my new free-to-play account with Ravnica Allegiance. I just signed up for a brand new account, so you're going to see me play the game without putting any money or gems into it of any kind. So that's exciting. Some of you I know really like that kind of thing, and it has helped many new players get into the game and see how to grind gold decks that they can play and build on very low budgets, as well as just how to handle the arena economy. So before I get in too deep into everything going on here, this is a brand new account. Right now we've got the decks that you get as a present when you join. We have 500 gold, no gems, and 2 rare wild cards, 1 mythic, 8 common, and 4 uncommon. One thing I'm going to talk about right away that you're going to want to do if you're watching this, it's probably because Ravnica Allegiance is the new set, and every time a new set is introduced to the game, we will want to see how that affects the meta, the cards that are available, what packs to buy, and what we can build. I'm going to explore Ravnica Allegiance.
We are at the threshold of a new age.
Did you think death would free you from your obligation?
When the system fails, we will balance the scales. This is cruel territory now!
Hype!
Get ready for the freak show!
What is there to fear? This is what we've been preparing for!
Crap, people. Showstopper.
Is upon us.
Your skull will make a fine trophy.
Nice. Nice. Doesn't that feel like a proper trailer? I like that. So right away we luck out with our quest, which is to cast 20 black or red spells. We can re-roll this quest to try to get a 750 gold quest. And you want to do that. You always want to try to get a 750 gold quest. The trick is, if you can't get the 750 quest, you want to specifically not do the quest so you can have a quest open the next day for a reroll. So let's hit the reroll here. And it's another 500, but it's black or green. So this makes me, instead of taking that instant reward and going for that 500 gold quest, I'm going to, on a future video within the next few days, re-roll it and try to turn it into a 750 instead. You can re-roll once a day, and that's the plan. Now you might say, what is the plan going into this? I'm going to tell you a few tips for managing the arena economy, then I'm going to build a deck, and we're going to get to playing games. So, my first tip for managing the arena economy isn't my tip. It's borrowed from what I think is a great article that I'm going to link in the description that everybody who cares about maximizing their arena economy and time and getting as many cards as they can for free should read. And that is called Going Optimal in MTG Arena. It's posted on channelfireball.com. It is the article, in my opinion. It is long, it is detailed, and if you care about this, it is worth your read, and it is summed up better than I can ever do here on screen, aside from opening it up and reading it to you. I will be taking a constructed heavy path. I am not going to be doing limited. I'm not going to be drafting to build my collection. I don't enjoy draft very much. So that is the purpose for that. And we're going to simply be using events and quests to build up our collection. Now, here's the second tip for building your collection. We're going to do it right now. Get to the store and in redeem code, put in Play Allegiance. Allegiance. I can't spell it wrong. I can't spell it right the first try no matter what. I know the spelling, but I always mess it up. Code not found. What did I do wrong? Did I spell it wrong anyway? There it is. I spelled it wrong anyway, even when I was trying. How embarrassing. But there you go. Code redeemed successfully. You get 3 packs of Ravnica Allegiance for this code. Everybody can use it. You can use it once per account. Go get it right now. Then I was thinking about buying the welcome bundle. Let me know in comments if I should buy the welcome bundle. I will tell you this. Everybody who has reviewed the game has said that you should buy the welcome bundle, that for $5 it's a fantastic deal and you should definitely get it. 5 packs and 2,500 gems can really go a ways in getting more packs. As you see, it's 6 packs for 1,200, so 2,500 gems is 12 packs. That's a really good start and much better than the 3 we just grabbed. Let me know in the comments if I should buy the welcome bundle or not. Yay or nay to the welcome bundle. Moving along from there, let's go open our packs and see what we get. I have a strategy going in. I have a red deck that I want to build that only requires 4 rare wild cards, and I think it's absolutely devastatingly good. So my plan is to grind our collection up with mono red. Last season, if you want to go back and watch it for Guilds of Ravnica, we used mono blue to grind a pretty sweet collection over about 20 to 30 episodes of the Young CGB Chronicle adventures, and now we're kicking it off again. This time I think that red is definitely the path, because of some new common and uncommon cards in the new set, and the way that red bridges to Rakdos very easily. So right away I'm looking for some sweet red cards. Let's do it. Well, we got a Footlight Fiend. Quench is a good card if we end up in blue again, which we may have to brew some other decks along the way. I doubt I'll only play one color forever. And Deputy of Detention is a sweet Ravnica Allegiance rare for the Azorius guild, which is my favorite guild, if I'm being totally honest. Azorius is always where I want to be. Next up, a Fireblade Artist for the Rakdos. And we are opening a Bedevil, which is a very sweet Rakdos card as well, that I'm sure we'll get to at some point. Some good pack opens so far. Let's see if we can top it off. Here is a Mythic, a Spawn of Mayhem. Wow. So 2 straight, very strong Rakdos cards. Once we can get our black-red cards together, we're definitely on an aggressive track. Okay, we've got these pre-made decks already, and we could talk about upgrading them. I am more of the type who likes to build decks from scratch. That's how I work, and I would recommend anybody getting into the game work on building their deck. There's nothing wrong with taking this deck, going out into the arena and playing some games to learn the game, but when it comes to designing your own deck, I strongly recommend that you learn to build the decks. I can't believe how many good players I've met that have actually not learned to build decks. They've only learned how to net deck, import, export, and that's it. So here we go. We're going to go first day red. And we'll add some shocks to the deck. I think that Goblin Instigator is also an excellent one, so we'll add that to the deck. We'll add some Pyromancers. We have some Charging Monstrosaurs, a Demanding Dragon. We have the Pyromantic Pilgrim, which is pretty good. I mean, if the opponent has no creatures, it's the damage output that you pretty much need. And then aside from that, that's all we've got. So there's a long way to go. When we look at our wildcard situation, we have 8 commons, 6 uncommons, 2 rares, and a mythic. I know what rare I want. I'm coming in with a plan. So when you want to craft, I'm going to go to not collected, and I'm going to type in what I want. I want Goblin Chainwhirler. This is the card that I want very badly to be running in the deck as soon as possible, 4 of as soon as possible. So this is where the rare wild cards are certainly going to go, is into Goblin Chainwhirler. Now we have a mythic wild card. Mythic rares in red are often very expensive, and it's also hard to say which ones we're going to be able to play with in the future, but let's have a look at rares, mythic rares in the red. We can grab some Rekindling Phoenix, which is a nice resilient creature. We can also grab Arclight Phoenix if we were interested in Drakes, and we can grab a Hellkite if we're just interested in Dragon Beats. I think that Hellkite's going to turn out to be a pretty good card, but I think that the cheaper card in Rekindling Phoenix, since we already have some 5-drops, is the wiser play here. So I'm going to craft Rekindling Phoenix now. I think it could really help us win some games early on. Now what we still have are 8 commons and 6 uncommons. So this is where we want to get into crafting some stuff. First of all, I want Ghitu Lavarunner. I need some 1-drops that that can help me create lots of creature damage. So let's go find Ghitu Lavarunner. And here we go. So you are an uncommon. We have 6 of those, so I can go right in and craft those. Oh wait, you're a common. Oh, that's even sweeter. My bad, everyone. So let's grab those. Then we can also, let's see, we can go all the way up to 4 if we want to. I think uncommon are going to be the burn spells that I grab. I could make Skewer the Critics, but it's a common in Ravnica Allegiance, which are the current reward packs. So I'm going to try to open the Skewer the Critics on my own. Let's also look up Fanatical Firebrand, which is another common and is another very, very good early creature for the red deck. We'll grab some of that. 4 more commons. So this is going to be 3. This is going to be 2. And then what I think I would love to have is more Viashino Pyromancer, because I think this card fits right to what I'm trying to do. And that uses up our common wildcards. Now we're going to use our uncommon wildcards on burn spells. So right away, let's look up Lightning Strike. And I'll grab you. There's no reason not to grab a number of Lightning Strikes. It's a wonderful card. Does a tremendous amount of damage. It does seem like we might open one if we end up buying the welcome bundle, so I'm going to check my comments before crafting the last Lightning Strike in case our core M19 boosters contain some Lightning Strikes for us. What they won't contain is Wizard's Lightning, which pairs with our Wizards to do even more direct damage. So let's go grab some Wizard's Lightnings. And there you go. So now we're up to 55 cards. We still have to find 5 cards to fill some space, and we're out of wild cards. So let's see what's left for our options. None of them were very good. It's normal that you have to play some filler early on in the format. And I see Sure Strike, which is sort of like another Lightning Strike if you get an unblocked creature. Hopefully our tokens make that possible. And then we have a Spit Flame, which can remove an opposing blocking creature. I think that that's pretty good. I don't think it's great. I think it's merely good. But you do what you got to do at this phase of the game. We can also run a Footlight Fiend, which is a 1-drop that if it dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. It's hybrid mana, so you can play it for red or black mana. So I think that's the play, rather than trying to work in Rakdos and making our mana kind of tough, or work in a 6-drop like Burning Sun's Avatar. I don't really want to pay a 6-drop with 24 mountains. We're going to keep the 24 mountains instead of cutting lands because we have 5 drops in the deck. And I have our day 1 redless. Who wants to run it? I think that the Pilgrim can run it. Pilgrim probably won't stay in the deck too long. And now we can go out and win our daily rewards. So we definitely want to complete our quests. And early on, this shows you what you can do to get quests. Now, I could play in ranked. Traditional play has the lowest rewards with no actual benefit. The best way to build your best way to build your collection is a constructed event, which does cost 500 gold, which I think is why they give you 500 gold. However, I don't feel confident about my deck in an event like this. I don't know if I would get enough wins. I want to build my collection for a few days first. And then, let's see, the last thing where we can play is ranked, which, you know, we're going to start out at the bottom, so it's not too bad. But the rewards for ranked aren't that good. I think that since we're starting in bronze, we can work our way up in ranked. Since play has almost no reward, at least if we get to gold, there's some end of seasons rewards in ranked. Those rewards here aren't very much. In bronze you get 1 pack, in silver you get a pack and 500 gold, and in gold you get 1,000 gold and 2 packs. I think a good goal for the free-to-play account is, while we're building our collection before we have any top-tier meta decks, is to get into gold. If we get into gold, then we get a few packs at the end of the season. That's nice. It ends in 13 days. That's just a little bonus. It's good. It's not amazing or anything. It's fine. So that's going to be my goal. I'm going to try to get into gold. So rather than play in just regular play, which doesn't have a reward, and rather than enter an event, which I don't think my deck is ready for, we're going to go into ranked, start out in bronze, and let's go get it. So, our opening hand has both of our rare Goblin Chainwhirlers. Let's keep it. How much better can it get? Well, my friends, this is the Young CGB account where my editing will not be to hide games unless they're absolutely depressingly bad or something goes horribly amiss, like a technical issue. So, you'll get to see a whole bunch of games, and I hope you enjoy them. We'll probably lose some, we'll probably win some. And, yeah, just hope that you mostly get from it a way to approach the game and build up your collection if you can't spend money on the game. It's a great world that we live in where you get to play Magic the Gathering for free. So our opponent opened with a Dragon Rider. I think I will use... It gets flying if they control a dragon, but it can't really attack past a Goblin Chainwhirler. I think I'll see if my opponent can kill my Chainwhirler before I worry about shocking this Dragon Rider, because I may have a better use for shock on something else. So we're going to hold on to shock for now. I know that goes against the kill everything strategy people use, and we're a little bit punished because we drew a Pyrostatic Pilgrim. But let's play out our Goblin Chainwhirler. It has first strike, so it's going to be a very hard creature to deal with. Also, if you've watched this far, you've probably picked it up by now, but my free-to-play guides and these Young CGB free-to-play accounts are centered towards new players to the game. I'm going to play at a rather deliberate pace and explain most of my choices and cards a bit more than I would otherwise on the other account, where I try to keep the gameplay moving at a reasonable pace most of the time until there's a very tough decision. So, just letting you know. Here's a Shivan Fire, knocking Goblin Chainwhirler down to 1 toughness and a shock. So the opponent spent 2 cards to kill our Chainwhirler. We're not very upset about that. That's called a 2-for-1 in Magic speak. If they have to use 2 cards to get rid of one of ours, if they have to do this multiple times, they're falling further and further behind with every instance of that. So here comes our Pyrostatic Pilgrim. It looks like now our opponent does not have a shock or Shivan Fire, so let's attack them. We could still shock away this Dragon Rider, but I'm not very afraid of it. Instead, I'm going to play out the Footlight Fiend for 1 mana. I do enjoy the art on the Footlight Fiend, a little devil posing as a candle, just looking at your ankles. Pretty fun. So here is an Onake Ogre, which is a 4/2. Our opponent's attacking with a Dragon Rider. We could actually block and kill it with the Footlight Fiend. It would only deal 1 damage, but we could sacrifice the Fiend and deal another. However, your life total is a resource, and I am going to accept the damage because my focus is on dealing damage to my opponent, which Shock is going to allow me to do here. This is why we save the Shock. Now we can kill this creature with it. The opponent now doesn't have any blockers, so we get to attack them for 4. Keep in mind they only got to attack us for 2. We also have a wizard on the battlefield. I don't know if you know this, but the Pilgrim is a wizard, so it does make our Wizard's Lightnings better. However, I don't need to cast a Wizard's Lightning right now. I will play another Goblin Chainwhirler to have another 3/3 first striker on the battlefield. and we'll pass it back to our opponent. And we'll see if that Goblin Chainwhirler can continue to impress us and show why he was the first pick in the young CGB Ravnica Allegiance draft with the rare wild cards. Spitflame takes him out. Too bad, so sad. But he still got damage in, and he absorbed those removal spells. Our opponent now with the 2/2. Will they continue to attack us? They will not. I'm going to wait and see what I draw. If I draw a Shock, I would rather use that to kill the Dragon Rider. And another Wizard's Lightning. Okay. We will use the Wizard's Lightning on the Dragon Rider now and get damage in. Down to 7. With the Lightning going face, it's down to 4. So we only need to find 4 more damage. The opponent hasn't been playing as many lands as we have. This is a good indicator that they have spells in their hand. If those spells are huge and powerful, we could be in a lot of trouble. But we'll have to wait and see. Looks like they have an interesting decision here on turn 4 of how to spend the turn. Do they play a creature to try to block our creature? Or do they possibly use a spell to kill our creature? And it looks like the turn is being passed. I would be very scared of a card like Shake the Foundations that would kill both of our creatures. Also, if the opponent had their own Goblin Chainwhirler, that would be scary. So there's another Ogre. I'm again going to untap and draw and find out what my next card is before I throw the Wizard's Lightning, because I would much rather shock this creature. I could also try to trade the Footlight Fiend for the Ogre. By attacking with the Fiend, if the opponent blocks it, I can deal 1 damage to the Ogre and then it dies. But then I don't get any damage in this turn. I think the right play is still a Wizard's Lightning on the Ogre and an attack putting the opponent to 3. This means if we draw another Wizard's Lightning or a Lightning Strike, anything from here, we will win. I'm also going to keep this card in my hand. The opponent doesn't know what it is, and I don't have any cards that cost more than 5 in my deck. So I'm going to at least make the opponent think that I might have a good card in my hand, even though we know it's absolutely terrible to have our 6th land at this point in the game. The opponent now got their 5th land. They have a Goblin Instigator, which is a great card for this situation because it gets in front of both of our creatures. It creates 2 blockers. And the opponent uses a card called Scorch Mark, which deals 2 damage to target creature and it gets exiled. But we top deck a Charging Monstrosaur. Because of its trample and its haste, it should be able to win the game this turn. And that's why we are running Charging Monstrosaur in the deck. What a powerful card that can be. Blocking it won't save the opponent. Alright, let's deal that damage. And our first win in the books. All right, 500 gold. We actually got some quest progress because we cast a black spell in the Footlight Fiend. I'm going to claim my prize, and I'm going to go straight to the store and crack a pack. The goal is to build this collection, so let's see if we can crack a Skewer the Critics or something else that's really good to help our red deck. I definitely want Ravnica Allegiance because I eventually want to be a Rakdos Mage. I think that will be very strong in Ravnica Allegiance. Let's see, no red cards. Burned a Frilled Mystic though, and a Mythic, which is Seraph of the Scales, but cards we're a long way from using for our account. But they can go into the collection for now and hang out. We're also 1 pack away from another rare wild card, aka another Chainwhirler, so that's exciting. And if we get to 5 wins, we get a pack of Allegiance. So let's keep the grind going. The economy is very generous when you start your day and also when you start your week and also when you start your game. So you're going to see gold build a lot faster earlier on than you will later. All right, we've got a hand with a whole bunch of red creatures. They all cost 2. I wish I had a 1-drop, but we will play it. The opponent playing green could be very dangerous. If they play much bigger cards than ours and we don't get enough damage through, it could be horrible. Oh, look, they have a rare land and they appear to be on Simic. Well, do we play the Pyromancer or the Instigator? I think I like playing the Instigator since Pyromancer can get damage through later in the game. So that's where I'm going to lead with here is a Goblin Instigator. Our opponent with a Growth Spiral. And another rare land. I think they're playing Turbo Fog, which... Holy crap, if that's what they're playing, and if they play like the combo Wilderness Reclamation like this turn, they won't be in bronze very long. This is probably not somebody. This is probably somebody who threw money at the game and just got started and ranked, which means we're significantly overmatched. If we lose this game, we can't be upset about it. We just have to do our best and try to hit our quests. So like playing land is our quest. Let's play a... I'm going to go for as much damage as quickly as I can, and I think that means holding back on Goblin Chainwhirler. If I get a, let's see, if I get Firebrand here, I deal 3. If I play Goblin Chainwhirler here, I deal 3. The next turn I deal 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, or next turn I deal 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. If I play Pyromancer, I do 1, 2, and then if I play this, I deal another 3. And then the next turn, I deal another 5. So it's actually the same, and the Chainwhirler is more mana efficient. So I'm going to go with the Chainwhirler, but let's start by attacking with the Goblin Instigator. And his token friend. The opponent's going to depose. They're going to tap my Instigator to draw a card. Okay. Well, I'm glad that that's out of the way before the Chainwhirler came down, at least. And boom, hit him. So these Turbo Fog decks, the idea is to stall the opponent and set up a combo with a Planeswalker like Teferi, the hero of Dominaria.
Trust me, you know what? I'm not done yet.
Which then draws a bunch of cards and does a bunch of silliness. Let's move into combat. I can kill Teferi with Viashino Pyromancer and Lightning Strike combined, but let's see if we get any damage through to the Teferi first. I think at this early stage with my opponent still at 18, I have to try to kill Teferi, and it looks like it's going to happen. Okay, well in that case, my opponent may have another Teferi, we'll see, but I'm going to play the Pyromancers and start dealing damage to my opponent's face. It does take away the option of direct damaging a Teferi in the future. I expected a fog or some effect to save the Teferi there when it didn't happen. But maybe our opponent's on a bad draw, and that's the good thing about playing red. You can still beat players even when their deck is much better than yours. Dovin Grand Arbiter is a Planeswalker for 3 mana. It's a mythic rare. It made a 1/1 creature here, but that's not very dangerous. The Fanatical Firebrand can clear it out of the way, and then we can kill our opponent's Dovin and hit them in the face. So this is going to be a decent turn. I'm going to use my Fanatical Firebrand to kill off the Thopter token so that it can't block our 1 toughness Viashino Pyromancers. We'll move to combat. Because this has 2 loyalty, I'll go ahead and attack it for 2 so it can't make another token and gain another life. I think that would be a bit of a problem for us. And then we'll send everybody to the face. Our opponent falls to...
Go ahead and gloat.
our opponent has fallen to 8. We'll play out a Footlight Fiend because even if it gets blown up by something like a Cleansing Nova, it does the damage to the face. And we're going to hope, and I do mean hope, our opponent doesn't have a board wipe, a way to kill, an area of effect spell, a way to kill everything we have. An Ixalan's Binding. And that will exile 1 card, and we can never play another, and it's going to take our Goblin Chainwhirler away, which is very sad. And a Search for Iskanta, but our opponent's actually dead here. They're tapped out, and they have all enchantments on the field. And that's the scoop. We could get our opponent to 1, and I guess they made an assumption there that we had a burn spell by the hold in priority, which we were about to play anyway, but there you go, we got him. We beat the rares and the mythics. 350 gold, claim that prize. Our next quest is to deal 10 damage for another 250 gold. That seems doable. That seems right up our alley with the red deck. This is another reason why I really like the red deck. It seems to fulfill these quests very quickly. We have 1 and 2 and 4, and we have 4 lands. It's a bit more lands than I want, but I'm keeping it on the hope that Rekindling Phoenix is so strong it will win us the game. So let's go, Rekindling Phoenix. Take me to the promised land, you big crazy bird. Also some bolts to go with these wizards would be very nice. Some wizards lightning, some lightning strike, some shock. Something to help me get my creature damage through. Of course, drawing more land is the worst, because we already have as much as we're probably going to need for a long time. I did jinx myself, didn't I? In for a damage and in for a Pyromancer. Our opponent shows white, which is the color of life gain, which is scary. It's also the color of exile, which means it's very well suited to deal with Rekindling Phoenix. And now white-black, another land off the top, is the worst possible draw we could have had, unfortunately. Where was this when we just had the play lands quest? We have a deal damage quest we're trying to do. Fortunately, we've already done 6. History of Benalia is a wonderful card, and it's going to start gumming up the board right away. I'm going to play a Rekindling Phoenix. I'm going to hope to God our opponent can't exile it, and if they do, we are in a very, very sad place. But what happened to us is what's called flooding. We drew more lands than we drew spells. It's an unlucky state of events that happens, and our opponent has a rare Vraska's Contempt to exile our Phoenix and gain life. It's the worst possible situation that we could have faced. Well, Goblin Chainwhirler is not bad. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attack with both creatures. If the opponent blocks them, the Chainwhirler can kill them. Plus it helps us get our deal damage quest, because I don't think we can win this game. I think we're too far behind. I think that the flood, like this deck is particularly punished, not funished, not at all fun. This deck is punished by flooding more than most decks is the red deck. So when you flood early and miss a few turns of action, it's very hard to win the game. Very, very hard. That's just the way it is. Here's a duress. Enjoy the look at my 6th mountain. I'm not at all salty about it. How about a 7th? Well, let's attack. I have a feeling we may get settled. And there is Settle the Wreckage. Alright, at this point in the game, I'm no longer progressing any quests. I don't really have any good draws left to do. The opponent's playing a deck that clearly has life gain, lots of control, and now a mythic rare Lyra Dawnbringer. So I'm going to concede, since we're not even progressing our quest mode anymore. The game is basically over. And I think anybody who has played would be able to tell you that. So let's grab the gold. We're at 600 gold now. Still 2 wins out of 5 here, and if we come back tomorrow, we can earn a new deck with our quest, but we can't do any better right now. Let's see, if we win, we do get 100 gold, and this does reset daily, so that's a good reason to play. Here comes creatures. I guess we'll keep it. If we draw a bunch of lands again, at least this time we have a Charging Monstrosaur to play. And another Plains, so perhaps more people who are ready for red. It's not surprising that people are ready for red. It is by far the most popular deck in Arena. You'll see it all over the place. But I don't usually play it. This is the first time I've tried a mono red strategy out of the free-to-play part of the account. Hey, Daybreak Chaplain is stunningly good against us, and I actually do think I need to throw away a Goblin token and shock it before it can grow and do more damage. Here they come. The opponent will probably block, but if they didn't block, it would be interesting. That said, if you're not blocking with your 1/3 lifelinker, what is it doing? So we'll deal the damage. Our opponent gains 1 life and takes 1 damage. Now we can use the shock to kill off the chaplain so it doesn't gain any more life and cause us any more grief. And we can play Viashino Pyromancer and roast the opponent's face a little bit. And hope they don't have another 1/3 lifelinker. If you were not interested in playing red but interested in beating red, behold. Even something like a 2-mana 1/3 lifelinker does amazing damage. Or anything with 3 toughness. Here you go. Does amazing damage to the red deck. So let's play out a Pyromancer. Do 2 to the face. However, if we attack, we'll simply lose a creature. So let's wait for a lightning strike or some way to kill the courser. A griffin as well. So our opponent's getting together some flying creatures to block our ground creatures. Goblin Chainwhirler off the top is a good one to use against the courser at some point. But this turn I'm going straight to the Charging Monstrosaur. Let's see if the opponent has a way to kill it. There is a pause there. They might have something like a Moment of Triumph, some kind of a pump spell, which would be bad. Let's see what happens. Here's a block. Here's some damage. And interesting. And it looks like that's it. I don't like that block, wouldn't recommend it if I were you on this side. The trample from the Monstrosaur means damage is still taken, and losing a creature that way is very sad. Here's Take Vengeance. That will kill off the Monstrosaur. So the opponent did have a removal spell, a way to kill it, but it had to be tapped. It's an interesting situation. I don't know what I would have done. I can shock away the Griffin potentially, but there is a chance, there's a chance, my friends, that our opponent has a pump spell to save the Griffin. So in that case, there's some interesting things we could do, like attack with the 1 power creature. However, I think that the best thing we can do is attack with our creatures, and if our opponent tries to block and use a pump spell, we can shock it in response. So I may as well attack with everything if that's the play. And if I'm going to attack with everything, maybe I play the Chainwhirler first so the opponent knows they have to use the pump spell to save it from the Goblin if they make that block. So here comes the attack. We'll learn a lot by how our opponent blocks here, and they take all the damage. Interesting. Well, if they have a pump spell, they're playing very oddly with it. Maybe they have an enchantment, an aura to put on the Griffin. Here is a Loxodon Linebreaker, 3/2 Elephant Soldier. So this is definitely something I will end up shocking, I believe. And the opponent attacks with a Griffin. That's a very aggressive attack. So now a shock on the Linebreaker will mean that we win the game, as we have lethal available. I'll also cast this Pilgrim. I forgot what my quests were, but just to play it out, and in case I bad mathed, because sometimes I would hate to leave a point of damage off the table just because I suck at math, although I do know how to count to 8. I play a lot of Magic and I talk about Magic a lot, and every now and then a little misplay creeps in. So there's 100 gold. Yay. It's always weird having that arrow. I'm tempted to push it. And it looks like if we get another win, there's another 100 gold waiting for us. And of course, there's that pack. There's that pack just taunting us there. We wants it, my precious. We needs it. Our hand has Ghitu Lavarunner and a Sure Strike. If we draw a land, we have the Pilgrim, and if we flood out, we have the Monstrosaur. We have a castable Lightning Strike as well. I'll try it. On the draw, you're more likely to draw your lands just because you get more draw steps than normal. So that's the hope, is that we draw enough lands to use our spells. Fanatical Firebrand is here. That's not cool. but let's drop out our Lavarunner and cross our fingers that it survives. That didn't work out. Well, I'll play the Goblin Instigator. It's a good little wall against these Fanatical Firebrand. We're going to hope our opponent doesn't have Goblin Chainwhirler, which is the excellent trump to Goblin Instigator. No, instead it's another Lavarunner and another Lavarunner. And here's an attack. We definitely do want to trade with this. We want it off the battlefield because as long as it's there, it makes our Pilgrim worse. It makes our Sure Strike worse because it can sacrifice at instant speed to kill something whenever it wants to. Let's try attacking the opponent with the Instigator. The opponent will probably take it because it's not that threatening. Oh, okay, they are going to block. Well, in this case, I will use the Sure Strike to get one of the Lavarunners dead, which is, I think, the most I wanted it to do anyway. Now, I'm also going to make a play that looks a little funny. I'm going to shock the other Lavarunner. This is so that my opponent doesn't get a cost-reduced Wizard's Lightning on their turn when they untap their lands. So instead of using shock at instant speed and saving it like I have in the past, I just kill that Lavarunner right away. All right. We have a Pilgrim, which we can hit the opponent with. Their Firebrand is tapped, but if they untap, they can sacrifice it to kill the Pilgrim, which is very bad for us. It's not a good trade to let their 1-mana creature exchange with our 3-mana creature. That said, I'm not sure how this is going to go anyway. We're hoping this Monstrosaur wins. And using a Lightning Strike to keep the opponent from double blocking the Monstrosaur is probably a lot better. Although using the Lightning Strike on the Firebrand might be good enough. I think I've decided that I'd prefer to play the Pilgrim, even if the opponent can use the Firebrand to kill it. Because if they get rid of their Firebrand, I think it makes the Monstrosaur that much even more likely to survive. There we go, Pilgrim down. If you're wondering what I was looking at off to the side, it's just my monitor to make I was seeing if I'm properly centered and making sure that I'm recording. Here comes Goblin Instigator. Let's deal a point of damage, and let's play another Goblin Instigator, making another Goblin. If our opponent does have a Goblin Chainwhirler, this is very bad, because Goblin Chainwhirler would kill all of these. Let's see if it's there. Cross your fingers. Don't Chainwhirl me, bro. Okay, it's a Wizard's Lightning to the face. That's a really weird choice, but it does show that we made the right play earlier, shocking the opponent's Ghitu Lavarunner when we did, or else they could have played it for 1 mana, which is a big difference when you have to spend your whole turn throwing a Wizard's Lightning. The land off the top leads to the Charging Monstrosaur. That's going to be very hard for our opponent's red deck to beat, and the opponent says good game right away, knowing that the creature is bigger than other spells they could cast. It might be one of those preemptive, haha, good games, but no, it is not. Our opponent might have had like a fight with fire just for the lulz into a Chainwhirler, but that seems really unlikely in that spot. They're just too far behind. But do be wary of the person who good games you like they're going to lose, and then plays a card like Settle the Wreckage that totally wrecks the attack you made. All right, so with 5 more wins, with 1 more win, I'm sorry, we have 4 out of 5 wins. With 1 more win, we get a card and a pack. I think I'm going for this pack. I see no reason not to go for this pack. Maybe we can crack a good red card on before we go. A Skewer the Critics would be wonderful. A Light Up the Stage would be excellent to helping our little red deck here. And right away we have the Wizard Curve, and we have the Phoenix. If we flood out, we'll be good, and if we draw spells, that's good too, as long as they're not the very, very expensive variety. So let's go, Lavarunner. The thing we're missing are Lightning Strikes, Shocks, Wizard's Lightnings. If we had those in the hand, it would be like a perfect hand, but we don't. Let's send in the Lavarunner, hit, and let's play a Pyromancer, do 2 points to the face. And it looks like our opponent doesn't have a shock either, so we're getting started and it's going fine. Here's a Runaway Steamkin. So This is tough because our opponent may well have a Chainwhirler, but I don't think they want to block anything. So I'm going to go for the Pilgrim. This is a card we'd definitely add to our deck if we had it. Whenever you cast a red spell, a +1/+1 counter gets put on it, so it gets up to a 4/4, and then you can remove 3 +1/+1 counters to add mana to your mana pool. It's an excellent card, and I would play it if I had it. But let's swing in. Let's hope they don't have Chainwhirler. You can't play around everything, but even if they do, getting in a bunch of damage this turn, and then hoping that Phoenix can somehow finish the game, I think is our best chance. That's not a Chainwhirler. How lucky for us. The opponent didn't have a 1-drop to start the game, but it appears they've drawn one since then, because they're definitely trying to pick something out to kill. They might have held it because of their Steamkin, but I don't think so. And they're passing the turn and saying go, and we drew the Lightning Strike. So I want to draw out my opponent's removal spells. The first thing I'm going to do here is Lightning Strike away the Runaway Steamkin. It can't turn into a 4/4 right now. My opponent only has 1 mana. And if they use their Lightning Strikes and Shocks on my creatures here, then they won't have them left because it will probably take 2 of them, 2 Lightning Strikes and Shock type effects, to kill the Rekindling Phoenix. So we want to try to run them out of those effects. Everybody get it. The Viashino's blocking the Pilgrim, and let's see what the opponent does with a removal spell that I'm pretty confident they have. Here it comes. It's a Wizard's Lightning. So they did not have the Chainwhirler before. I'm going to continue to play as if they don't have it, as every bit of damage could matter in a red versus red game. And for 4 mana, they have another Runaway Steamkin and a Viashino Pyromancer, so they have threats on the ground and not removal spells. Do I want to attack with my Pyromancer now? If I attack with it now, the opponent will block it with the other Pyromancer, I think. There's also something to be said for attacking with the Lavarunner because the opponent may not block it, and getting a damage in could be the difference. But I don't think that's a good enough play. No, I think I hold this because if I draw a Goblin Chainwhirler, I don't want to trade a Pyro for a Pyro because the Chainwhirler can take out the Pyro itself. So I'm going to play Rekindling Phoenix, and I'm going to hold this land and say go. Everything we could draw costs 5 mana anyway, so there's not a terrible cost to hanging on to a land. Another Pyromancer comes down, but that means that our opponent's last 2 cards are not removal spells, which means this Phoenix might be able to end the game. Wizard's Lightning off the top is wonderful. Let's get it. Down to 4. Wizard's Lightning can take them to 1. But do I want to try to kill the Steamkin? No, I think I just tried to kill the face. And the opponent will scoop it up. The Rekindling Phoenix, that big beautiful owl phoenixy bird thing, stole one for us. Here's our pack, here's our card. Give me a good one. Or not. Golgari Raiders is a fun card, but not in our color. Still, building up that collection for things to do with it later is great. We get 50 more gold if we keep playing, but we have passed the first 5 wins, which means that it is going to continue to go down until all you earn are card rewards. So let's go to packs. Let's crack our pack, and then I think we're going to call it a show. See what we got here. We got our rare wild card, which is another Goblin Chainwhirler. We got another common wild card here, but we don't have any cards for our deck. Cavalcade of Calamity doesn't really work for what we're trying to do. It's a nice combo with specifically the Goblin Instigator, but that isn't a good enough reason to play it. And a Plaza of Harmony combines with Gates to gain life. We really don't need that. But again, we got to build up that collection. You can't get lucky enough to open things that you need all the time. All right, let's work on our red deck a little bit more. Now that we have a rare wild card, I'm going to pick up another Goblin Chainwhirler. And I'm also going to pick up, with a common wild card, another Shock, a Ghitu Lavarunner, or Fanatical Firebrand. I think I will take the Ghitu Lavarunner. I don't plan to buy Dominaria packs anytime soon, but if I get that welcome bundle, remember to tell me in comments if I should buy the welcome bundle or not, if you think that that is appropriate. And if that, you know, makes the free-to-play, am I still a free-to-play video or a budget video if I'm buying the welcome bundle? I really want to hear from you. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I might open a shock if I get that welcome bundle. So I'm going to get a Ghitu Lavarunner. This card is very good. I won't regret having 4 of them anytime soon. And then moving on down the list, what can we trim? What should we cut? I think that the Spit Flame is one of the worst cards, but I think Sure Strike as a combat trick is even worse than that. So I think that trimming the Sure Strike makes a lot of sense. And the 5-drops are much more powerful than the Sure Strikes as well. So we have 25 creatures. I think that Sure Strike is the trim. I think that's the card I'm most eager to get out. What I don't like about combat tricks is that if the opponent uses a removal spell to kill your creature in response to your combat trick, nothing happened. And you 2-for-1'd yourself. So that's why I will probably always be pretty opposed to them. Let's see, did I open any other red cards from ICRs that I might have missed? It doesn't look like it. So this is where I'm going to leave the red deck for the day. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I certainly did. It's tempting to throw in an Arcane Encyclopedia and a Diamond Mare, to be honest, because this is good against other red decks, and this is good against control decks. Both of them look a little janky, but they can get the job done. Oh, man. Am I really that guy? Like, in the mirror, 1 Diamond Mare can make a big difference, and against a deck that deals with all your stuff, an Arcane Encyclopedia can make a big difference. They're both kind of those fun one-ofs. Yeah. It's so weird because I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's fun. All right, friends. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please let me know. It goes a long way to keeping videos like this on the channel if I know that they're helpful and I know that they're working. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. My YouTube channel is proudly supported by HauntedFlower.com, shipping officially licensed apparel anywhere in the world, and now featuring Magic the Gathering apparel and accessories. If you use the promo code CGB at your checkout, you can save 10% on any order. That's the promo code CGB at checkout on HauntedFlower.com. That's HauntedFlower.com.